The standard deduction is available to taxpayers who choose not to itemize, or who would be able to claim more than if they chose to itemize. As standard deduction amounts rise each year, taxpayers are opting to take the standard deduction over itemization more than ever before. Dollar amounts are higher now than they've ever been and continue to inflate. Obviously, this inflation is to account for wage and cost of living increases and other gradual increases that occur each year. But its relatively high amount and the complexity of the tax code make it ever more appealing. For the 2021 tax year, the standard deduction for single taxpayers and married individuals filing separately is $12,550. This is a $150 increase from the previous year. Married filers can expect to take a standard deduction of $25,100 if they choose to. That's a $300 increase from 2020. Heads of households can claim $18,800 as their standard deduction, which is $150 more than last year. Single filers who are blind or over age 65 are eligible for an additional $1,700 on their standard deduction, which is $50 above last year. Remember, the standard deduction is a set amount of taxpayer income not subject to taxation. It's subtracted from their income before federal income tax is applied. One reason more taxpayers are taking the standard deduction is because of how complicated the tax code can be. As you saw in the last section, one possibility can devolve into 5 other pathways that each lead to other paths. A person gets to the point where they forget what brought them there in the first place. They may even wind up wondering which original form they were supposed to be using. There are hundreds of forms and worksheets provided by the IRS for calculating taxes, income, contributions, credits, deductions, expenses, and more. Rather than deal with the hassle of itemizing and going down a rabbit hole of supplementary forms, most taxpayers who make under $200,000 a year are happy to simply take the standard deduction. Those who have considerable assets, multiple business arrangements, or who fall into a high income bracket may want to go through the itemization process, especially if they already have to file multiple forms anyway. Sometimes a little extra paperwork is worth the return or credit towards their future taxes. If a taxpayer had a net qualified disaster loss, they may elect to increase their standard deduction, but they'll still need to fill out Schedule A in order to figure the amount it is increased by. Someone who can be claimed as a dependent by another taxpayer is limited on the standard deduction they can take. There's also no personal exemption for 2021. The TCJA eliminated it, and that remains the case for the 2021 tax year. Certain taxpayers are not entitled to claiming the standard deduction. A married individual filing as married filing separately whose spouse itemizes deductions. An individual who is a non-resident alien or dual status alien during the year. An individual who files a return for a period of less than 12 months due to a change in his or her annual accounting period. And an estate or trust, common trust fund, or partnership cannot claim the standard deduction. However, a non-resident alien who is married to a U.S. citizen or a resident alien at the end of the tax year and makes a joint election with their spouse to be treated as a U.S. resident for the entire tax year may take the standard deduction. So can a non-resident alien at the beginning of the tax year who is a U.S. citizen or resident by the end of the tax year, is married to a U.S. citizen or resident at the end of such tax year, and makes a joint election with his or her spouse to be treated as a U.S. resident for the entire tax year. Finally, students and business apprentices who are residents of India and are eligible for benefits under the United States-India Income Tax Treaty are allowed to take the standard deduction as well. The IRS has a helpful online tool for determining a taxpayer's standard deduction amount that can be found at the Interactive Tax Assistant webpage. It's called How Much is My Standard Deduction?